The city had long forgotten their names whispered together, until now. For nearly 18 months, Kim Yoo Jung and Song Kang had lived in separate orbits, their once intertwined trajectories dissolving into the glittering haze of fame and distance. The memory of their on-screen connection had faded from headlines, archived into fan edits buried under new obsessions and dramas. On a quiet evening, without warning or build-up, one subtle gesture from Kim Yoo Jung cracked that silence wide open. It was nothing dramatic, no grand confession, no public reunion, and yet it was enough to make the internet explode overnight. For months, she had moved quietly, shrouded in the serenity of her latest projects. Every public appearance had been poised, delicate, and resolutely professional. Meanwhile, Song Kang had carved out his own quiet empire, new dramas, fashion endorsements, a reputation for being almost too composed. Their fans, though nostalgic, had learned to let go. Until that gesture. Some said it began with a single like on a long-forgotten photo, others claimed she mentioned him in passing during a variety show. Her tone just soft enough to suggest something unspoken. Whatever it was, the spark spread faster than anyone could have predicted. In hours, social media turned into a battlefield of emotions. Twitter threads unraveled theories like crime investigations, Instagram reels dissected micro-expressions in her recent interviews, Reddit threads revived old interviews and behind-the-scenes footage, piecing together a mosaic of longing and speculation. She didn't just like the post. She lingered on it, one user wrote. 18 months later. And they still orbit each other, said another. Fans who had once mourned their distance were suddenly alive again. Hearts pounding with the old thrill of possibility. There was something poetic about it, two actors who had shared a universe of scripted emotions now sending shockwaves through reality with one unscripted act. Gesture, though tiny, seemed to hold the weight of all the words they hadn't said. The world didn't need confirmation. The mystery itself was enough. Screens lit up in bedrooms, cafes, offices, everyone watching, replaying, freezing frames, searching for meaning in the silence. It wasn't just gossip. It was nostalgia, reignited. The entertainment industry, ever hungry for a headline, moved swiftly. Articles appeared overnight. Kim Yoo Jung's hidden message, did Song Kang notice, a gesture that speaks louder than words. Each story repeated the same fragments, each phrase feeding the fire. But beyond the noise, there was something hauntingly human about it all, two people separated by time and expectation, caught once again in the echo chamber of public fascination. For fans, this wasn't just celebrity drama. It was emotional continuity. They remembered the behind-the-scenes laughter, the stolen glances, the press interviews where Yoo Jung shyly avoided his eyes while Song Kang smiled that restrained smile that seemed to hold something back. Those moments had once made millions believe in an invisible connection, fragile, fleeting, but real. Now, after so long, that belief was reignited. Brighter than ever. Old fan pages came back to life overnight. Clips resurfaced, that rain scene, that ad shoot. That moment when she adjusted his collar between takes. It was as if time folded in on itself, pulling everyone back to when their chemistry was the talk of the nation. And at the center of it all, one gesture, one moment, one heartbeat that seemed to whisper, I remember. People began to romanticize the silence between them. Maybe she waited 18 months for the right moment, someone tweeted. Maybe it's her way of saying something she never could. Others were less sentimental, using media manipulation or marketing strategy. But even cynicism couldn't dull the raw energy that had taken over the internet. Something about the timing, the restraint, the simplicity, it felt too personal, too charged to be coincidence. Behind every viral storm lies a quiet beginning. And this one had started in the stillness of Kim Yoo Jung's hand. Choosing, deliberately or not, to reach out, however subtly, across the digital void. Dissected timestamps, comment sections, even the metadata of her recent photos. Stories spun out like constellations. Maybe they'd met privately, maybe they'd reconnected during an award show rehearsal, maybe they'd never stopped communicating at all. Each possibility added a new layer of allure. What truly captured the world wasn't the speculation, it was the feeling that after all the distance, fame, and time, an act could still send millions of hearts racing. It wasn't just about them anymore. It became about us, the audience, craving proof that connection can survive silence. That love, even unspoken, found its way back into light. As the sun rose on the following morning, hashtags had taken over every platform. Kim Yoo Jung Song Kang 18 months apart, the gesture unfinished story. News anchors smiled knowingly as they discussed the unintentional romance revival. Even celebrities chimed in. Some teasing, some nostalgic. All aware that the story had become larger than fact. Yet in the midst of the frenzy, neither Kim Yoo Jung nor Song Kang said a word. Their silence, deliberate, calculated, merely cautious, only deepened the intrigue. Fans described it as a conversation through absence. A kind of poetic dialogue where gestures spoke louder than statements. Each time she appeared at an event, reporters watched for clues. Time he smiled in a new photo shoot. Headlines asked, was that for her? Somewhere between the buzz and the quiet, their story reclaimed its heartbeat. Had once been buried under months of detachment, now pulsed again. Not through interviews or public appearances, but through the collective imagination of millions. The line between fiction and reality blurred once more, as it always does with stars who carry both gravity and mystery. And maybe, in that blurred space, between gesture and silence, past and present, lay the reason the world couldn't look away. Because even after 18 months apart, the smallest movement from Kim Yoo Jung reminded everyone that some stories don't fade, they wait. Hidden beneath headlines, protected by distance, and reignited by the simplest of acts. They live on, unfinished, untamed, and utterly unforgettable. The silence didn't end the story, it deepened it. When Kim Yoo Jung's subtle gesture ignited a global storm, the question shifted from what happened to why now? 18 months of distance had built a mythology around them, and a single spark seemed to pull both stars back into a spotlight neither had asked for. But that's the thing about stories like theirs, they don't fade with time, they simmer, waiting for the world to notice the next flicker. Headlines multiplied. Media outlets scrambled to decode the meaning. Some entertainment reporters called it a nostalgic echo. Others claimed it was a strategic move timed with upcoming releases. PR insiders whispered that a gesture so delicate could never be accidental. Industry veterans speculated that perhaps it was a form of quiet marketing, subtle, emotional, and irresistibly ambiguous. Yet, who knew them, or at least thought they did, insisted otherwise. An unnamed stylist who once worked with both stars described their energy as quiet electricity. They don't need to talk, she said in an interview. You can feel the awareness between them even when they stand apart. Her words rippled through fan communities, adding fuel to the emotional wildfire. Suddenly, what began as a fleeting online rumor evolved into a cultural moment, a mirror reflecting how easily the public turns longing into legend. And as always, where emotion lingers, speculation thrives. Some claimed they had met secretly during an event in Busan. Others pointed out how both stars had posted photos with the same background tone, the same hour of day. Coincidence? Maybe. But in the world of fandom, coincidence is just another word for fate. Every angle, every lighting choice, every smile became a clue in an unsolvable mystery. Still, beneath the storm of headlines, there was a quieter narrative, the story of two people navigating the impossible expectations of visibility. To the public, they were flawless, beauty, talent, charisma, a perfect pair on and off screen. Fame is a double-edged mirror. Every glance becomes evidence. Every silence becomes confession. And perhaps that's why her gesture felt so dangerous, so fragile. It wasn't just a message to him. It was a risk. Media frenzy didn't stop there. Television hosts debated it with knowing smirks. YouTube commentators crafted 15-minute essays about celebrity emotional branding. And digital tabloids created timelines mapping every interaction they'd ever shared. Through all of it, Kim Yoo Jung remained luminous yet distant. Her expression unreadable in public appearances. Song Kang, ever the calm counterpart, mild as if untouched. Though some swore his laughter had a hint of nostalgia, people began to read poetry into their silence. Fans wrote fan fiction. Art pages revived their old stills with captions like some stories pause, but never end. It was no longer just about two celebrities, it became a collective love letter to connection itself. The internet had turned them into symbols of unspoken affection. Something delicate that refused to disappear. But behind that symbolism, real lives existed. Two professionals, separated not only by distance but by the weight of scrutiny. Sources close to production teams spoke of how careful both had become, every word rehearsed, every smile measured. Social media post filtered through layers of approval. Freedom to gesture, to reach out, even innocently, had become a luxury. That's what made her move so powerful. It broke the unspoken rule of silence. And yet, she never explained it. Neither did he. There were no denials, no clarifications. No clever interviews to twist the narrative. Just silence. Again, that same eloquent, maddening quiet that had followed them since their rumored parting. Some said that was the most beautiful part. Called it manipulation. But maybe it was something simpler, peace. The story reached its fever pitch when a fan account noticed both stars were scheduled for the same award ceremony. Suddenly, the internet held its breath. Live stream chats overflowed with messages. If they stand together again, the world will melt. Cameras zoomed in mercilessly, searching for glances, micro-reactions, anything. She arrived first, radiant in white, calm as moonlight. He followed. Dark-suited, composed. A mirror of restraint. They didn't greet. They didn't even glance, but for millions watching, that was enough. The air between them felt charged, almost cinematic. Night, a single clip went viral, as she walked off stage. A faint smile brushed her lips when he passed behind her. Lasted less than a second. But fans turned it into eternity. The smile that ended 18 months, one caption read. Proof that silence speaks louder than words, said another. The internet didn't care whether it was real. The moment had already transcended truth. In the following days, as the noise began to settle, something beautiful lingered. The hysteria faded, but the fascination didn't. He began to reflect on why this small act had captivated them so deeply. Perhaps it wasn't about Kim Yoo Jung or Song Kang anymore. Perhaps it was about the ache of unfinished stories. The kind we all carry quietly, hoping for one last sign. Kim Yoo Jung, her gesture became an accidental mirror, reflecting not only her own humanity but the collective longing of millions. For Song Kang, it became a reminder of the fragility of distance, how easily a single move could resurrect an entire history. And for everyone watching, it became a rare piece of magic in an age obsessed with clarity, the beauty of not knowing, of feeling instead of proving. The world moved on, as it always does. New dramas aired. New rumors took their place. The memory of that gesture, that single, quiet, defiant act, refused to fade. Even months later, fans still whispered about it in corners of the internet, playing the same moments as if they were protecting something sacred. Perhaps that's what the story was truly about, not love confirmed, not scandal exposed, but the eternal dance between distance and connection. Some bonds don't need reunion to exist, they survive in glances, gestures, and the spaces between words. Whether it was intention or accident. Truth remained, Kim Yoo Jung's gesture didn't just stir curiosity, it rekindled faith in emotion itself. 18 months apart. Yet one quiet act reminded the world that even in silence, some hearts still recognize each other. As night fell on the noise, the echo of her choice lingered, a whisper against the digital storm. Fragile yet unforgettable. Sometimes, the smallest gesture burns the brightest. Sometimes, love doesn't return, it simply remains.